Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today we're looking at something that's now quite old, has become very collectible and are just awesome in my view. We are looking at the 1997 release by Playmates from their Star Trek Warp Factor Series 1 series of the Next Generation action figures. Now these were all action figures produced for the 10th anniversary of Star Trek The Next Generation, which started in 1987 and ran for 7 seasons and finished in May 1994, or the last episode was aired in May 1994. And as I say, it ran for 7 seasons, with each episode running at about 45 to 50 minutes, and there was a total of 178 episodes produced. And obviously Star Trek Next Generation was the second live action series that was basically the follow-on from Star Trek, the original series from the 1960s. And of course in the early 70s you also had the Star Trek, the animated series. But anyway, let's get back to this. We are looking at this particular figure, and this is the card it comes on, and it says Serialized Warp Factor Series 1 Star Trek. It's got spring activated action features, and the figure is of none other than Commander William Riker, and it's stock number 16252. And there you can see Riker behind the bubble with his accessories and so on, and it's got real phaser rifle drawing action, and it comes complete with Galactic gear, which is a Starfleet Phaser Rifle, Starfleet Rifle Projectile, Starfleet Type II Phaser, Starfleet Tricorder, Sims Beacon, and the Starfleet display stand. And it says Star Trek Next Generation 10th anniversary, 1987 to 1997. Ages 4 and up, assortment number 16250. And you've got the Playmates logo at the bottom there, and it's got warning, choking hazard, small parts not for children under 3 years old. Okay, that's the front of the card. Now before we have a good look at the figure, what I want to do is turn the box or the card around, and let's see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the card around, and this is what we've got on the back. So it says Star Trek Commander William Riker with real phaser rifle drawing action. To bring Riker's Starfleet Phaser Rifle to firing position, press the button on his back and fire the spring firing Starfleet Phaser Rifle. Boldly go where no one has gone before. Collect the entire Playmate Star Trek Combat Action Series assortment, which we can't see all of them because Bandai, who was the UK distributor, have stuck their sticker over the top, which is the warning sticker. It says not suitable for children under 36 months. Now, if I look at that in some light, I can see the top one is Picard, and I think the next one is Q, and then we've got Worf, and then we've got the Borg, and we've got Worf. And it says Commander William Riker, spring activated action features include real spring firing defensive weapon, and it comes complete with the Starfleet Phaser Rifle, the Starfleet Type II Phaser, the Phaser Rifle Projectile, the Sims Beacon, Starfleet display stand, and his Starfleet Tricorder. And the bottom left hand side you can see it says Star Trek Deep Space Nine Lieutenant Commander Worf with a Barlish combat action and firing Klingon rifle. And you've got the Borg with firing arm and mechanical grab action. You got the Star Trek logo. It says ages 4 and up, assortment number 16250, stock number 16252. Playmates logo, Paramount Toys logo, Playmates web address, and it says join the official Star Trek fan club, 1-800 Fan. And then there's a library database of William Riker. It says library computer and retrieval system, LCARS, USS Enterprise, NCC 1701E, subject Commander William T. Riker. William T. Riker was born in Valdez, Alaska, on planet Earth in the year 2335. He is the son of Kyle Riker, a civilian Starfleet strategist on Tholon relations. William graduated 8th in his Starfleet Academy in 2357 after 12 years of service. He had already been decorated 5 times. His first assignment was aboard the USS Pegasus, under the command of Captain Eric Pressman. He was later stationed on Betazord, then served on the USS Pateman, where he was commended for exceptional valor. Promoted to commander, Riker became the executive officer aboard the USS Hood under Captain Robert D. Solow, before being selected by Jean-Luc Picard for the Enterprise D. Riker has remained at Picard's side on the newly commissioned Enterprise E. Okay, that's the back of the card. So let's turn the card back round to the front and have a good look at the figure. And obviously it's still sealed, so we can't remove it from the packet, but let's have a good look at the figure anyway. Okay, so I've turned the card back round to the front and I've zoomed in on the figure itself. And there you can see the image of William Riker as he appeared in Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I've got to say, it is a pretty good likeness of Riker. I mean, obviously the beard helps in shaping the face, but it is an exceptionally good likeness of Jonathan Frakes, who played Riker in the TV series and in the movies. Now, obviously this is the later version of him with a beard, because in the early version he didn't have the beard, and he got a little bit stouter towards the end of the TV series, so this is obviously a younger version of him, but it is the likeness is pretty good. The eyes are spot on, obviously the beard and the shape of the chin is spot on. The hair, maybe, everything seems to be about right. And the sculpting on it, I just think, is excellent. Maybe they've made him a little bit too young, looking a little bit too young here. That's the only criticism I can say of the sculpting. But otherwise, he's fantastic. Exceptionally good likeness of Jonathan Frakes. And there he is in his Star Trek: The Next Generation uniform. His Starfleet burgundy colour uniform with his 3 pips, his commander pips on his collar, and his communication badge. Even the communication badge is done exceptionally well. So they're not just printed on, they are raised sections on the badge, which is, as I say, fantastic. And there he is holding his weapon. So the articulation and the ability to hold the pieces is exceptionally good on these figures. And there he is in his black trousers. And if I can just turn the packet to the side, you can see that he's got his boots on at the bottom there. I know it's pretty difficult to see through the card at the side, but that's where we are. Okay, so the accessories. So we've got the hand phaser, we've got the tricorder, we've got the Sims beacon, and we've got his phaser rifle with the projectile that really fires. So that's the projectile, and it slots into the end of the gun, and then you've got a button on the top. See that button there? Well, you press that down and that fires the projectile. So you've got a real firing projectile. And of course, you've got that button on his back, which you can just, I think you can just see it on his back there, which is a spring action, which, as you can see, it springs his arms up. So it's a press button on the back, and it springs the arms up for loaded, ready position. Okay, articulation wise, well, these figures were great articulation. So you can see you've got articulation on the head, you've got articulation on the shoulder, you've got articulation on the top of the arm, and you've got articulation on the hand. So you've got 3 points of articulation on each arm plus the head. You've got the top of the waist there, you've got the top of the legs that move up and down. If I can, I'm just a bit too far in, let's move out a little bit. So you can see the waist there, the tops of the legs, and then you've got the turning points at the tops of the legs there as well, and you've got the knee joints. So the feet doesn't move on this one because you've got the top of the legs which turn. So you've got multiple points of articulation on these particular figures. Absolutely fantastic articulation, and really, really nice design figures. Now, it's supposed to be a 7-inch figure, so let's take the 6-inch figure, which it is, which converts round to 15 centimeters, and if we measure across, it's about 6 centimeters across, and depth wise we're looking at about, I'd say about 4 centimeters deep the way he's standing, but he is twisted slightly, so it might be less than that. It could be about 3 centimeters. But that is Commander William Riker, the first officer aboard the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701E, which obviously replaced the NCC 1701D. Okay, how well did these figures do back in 1997? Well, this was probably coming to the end of the batch of Playmates figures, I would have said. They released figures multiple times. They did do this wave of Warp Factor series figures, and the 10th anniversary of Star Trek Next Generation, they made these figures bigger. So originally they were 4 inches, or 4 3/4 inches, I think they were, and these figures they made 6 inches, so they made them pretty taller. The only other figures that were taller than these was obviously the 12-inch cloth figures, and the Talkback series figures. But these ones, I think the articulation, the sculpting, and the actual movement and the accessories were just fantastic. Really good range of figures. I don't think they've done as well as the earlier figures, though, as I say, because it was getting to the end. I mean, Star Trek The Next Generation hadn't been on television at this point since 1994, the last series was shown, and these were 97, so it's three odd years later, although Generations had been on the big screen and First Contact was out or about to come out at this time, so there was still a lot of hype for Star Trek, but as I say, the figures I think have run their course, so they weren't quite as popular as the earlier figures. Although as I say, I think these were the best of them all. But I also think these were more geared to collectors rather than children, because of the way they've updated them, the more points of articulation, the more accessories, and the more detailing. So they're definitely geared for a more older audience than the previous figures. Although even the previous figures were amazing. Playmates done some of the absolutely amazing figures in their whole run of Star Trek. So yes, they've done very well. They obviously sold the amount that was produced, and yeah, what more can I say? Terrific figures. So let's move forward now, 27 years to 2024, which is where we are now. Do these figures appear very often on the platforms? Well, no, not really. They do occasionally come up, don't get me wrong. You do see them occasionally, but not very often in comparison when you think about how many of the other figures come up. Although, as the years have gone on, you do see less and less of these figures appearing on the platforms. The same with some of the others, like the Voyager figures. You don't see many of those. The classic movie series, very few of those appear on the platforms these days. Probably because of the age. A lot of people have bought them, taken them out, displayed them, what have you. So finding them on the platforms in this condition, mint, sealed, is not as easy as it used to be. Don't get me wrong, there used to be loads of them on the platforms, but nowadays not so many, if any. As I say, there were less quantities of these particular 6-inch figures produced than the rest of them. However, yes, you know it, we at Midas Touch has managed to find a whole case of these figures. And again, it was from a closed down shop, and it was stock that was unsold, that was never put on the shelf. And when they closed down, we went in and we bought out all of their stock, and the whole case of these figures was amongst that stock. So we do have every figure from the series available on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Trek items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful action figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.